Get ready for an unfair advantage over your competition. This is the Sales Edge podcast, where globally recognized sales expert and trainer Joe Pici helps you sharpen your skills for booking more appointments and closing more deals. And now, here's your host, Joe Pici.
Hey team, I am asked all the time, how do you sell to intimidating people? I mean, you know that person. You know, they're very fiercely direct. They cast that intimidating shadow. And so many times people are afraid to sell to them. You know, we all know them. They're on your list. Maybe you have apprehension of picking up the phone and calling them, or when you get there, selling to them. Well, today I'm going to give you some tips on how do you sell to that intimidating person. Welcome to the Sales Edge podcast. This is podcast 296, and I am your host, Joe Pici. Thank you, Pici and Sell More Virtually, as being our sponsors, speaking, coaching, training, consulting firm, and a virtual speaking, coaching, training firm where I'm out there every Thursday night live. And thank you for being such loyal, repeat clients, customers, and podcast visitors. But let's talk about that type of person that kind of maybe puts people off. You have to sell to them, but maybe you're intimidated. Let's look at some of the behavioral clues. What should you look for? How do you know? Number one, they have a tremendous stare. I mean, they look right through you, very steady eye contact. Number two, they have very few facial expressions. Number three, they tend to talk fast, and they tend to talk loud. Another one, they like to speak in bullet points. They almost chop sentences. Sometimes they don't even finish sentences. They tend to take charge of a situation, you know, and they decide very quickly and independently. They don't like to run things by a committee. They focus on results, and they really avoid details. And they like to, a lot of times they'll wear power colors. I'm just giving you some keys to how do you recognize that behavior style. We refer this to the direct behavior style. As you know, Dawn and I train all over the country, all over the world on the human behavior model DISC. And the four categories are the fast-paced task, the direct, the fast-paced people, the interactive, the slow-paced people, the steady, and a slow-paced task, the calculating. Well, today we're talking about that direct, that fast-paced, task-oriented person. You know, and these are the people, quite frankly, that most people shun from. They don't want to deal with them. However, it's been our experience, they're actually the easiest people to sell to for two reasons. Number one, you do not get a meeting with them unless they're buying. Of all the behavior styles, they have time as number one in their life. They covet time. And so you don't even get an appointment with them unless they're in the buying zone. So for them to say yes to an appointment, you're more than 50% to closing the deal. Number two, because time again, they don't like to do 2, 3, 4, 5 meetings for one decision. These people are going to take the bull by the horns, and they expect you to take the bull by the horns. They expect you to come there to sell. So here's a few strategies we've come up with, and let me share this. In our 3-day sales boot camp, in our corporate training, in our one-on-one coaching, and in our mega course on Sell More Virtually, I go into great depth on how to sell to each behavior style. Each behavior style, I'll take a half an hour to 45 minutes. Today, I'm going to give you some tips. Let's talk about the psychology of selling to this direct client. Selling to any individual requires that you understand their psychological needs as well as product needs. Furthermore, the deeper understanding you have is going to help you build rapport with that client. For example, this direct behavior style, they have 3 basic needs. They want challenges, choices, and control. To sell to them, you have to meet those needs. This is very important. What they don't like being taken advantage of. They don't like losing control, and they don't like being disrespected. Well, what does that mean? If you don't return their call, you're disrespecting them. So therefore, what you want to be when you're dealing with them, here's some keys on how you can be effective with them. Be brief and to the point and speak in bullet points. Be highly respectful of their time. Be direct, so get to the point quickly. Be confident, look them in the eye. Be ready to close the deal. Now, here's something else I will tell you. Okay? This is going to be a short meeting. This is going to be a short meeting because, once again, time is of the essence to them. If they want details, they'll ask for them. But if you give too many details, you can blow the sale. So now let's get into another thing, understanding a little bit more depth. Connecting with your client in a sales meeting is absolutely critical. You must first win their respect if you want to sell them. This requires tweaking your sales presentation to meet their needs. You know, all the sales books out there in the 21st century, so many of the sales speakers, which are so good, they talk about starting with a story. This direct behavior style doesn't have time for your stories, and you can take a chance of losing a sale because you believe every sale starts with a story, not with this behavior style. So here's a couple tips and coaching points. Arrive 15 minutes early for your appointment. That's either on Zoom or live. The high D's run early. And so if you're not early, you're late. Return every phone call promptly. This practice not only is common courtesy, but you are going to differentiate yourself from everyone out there. Now, another one, get down to business right away. If you're sitting down with Batman, okay, they don't want to know about your summer vacation. You know, sometimes we have to understand that these people have a clock in their head and you have a limited time with them. They enjoy the battle. Therefore, they're going to push back. They're going to challenge you. They love to negotiate. And at the end of the day, this behavior style is very busy. You know, while they're listening to what you're saying, they're on to the next meeting. Make sure you're concise, you're impactful, and you have content. So now let's talk about some of the things you should discuss in your meeting. What are the challenges they want solved? What is the solution you provide? What are their goals? What results do you provide? Give them options, and your options are going to be hidden in your uniqueness. So vital. And communicating with this behavior style. Here's some words that's going to get you more traction. You, in other words, you're saying it to you, them, results, performance, solutions. That's what they buy. Now, remember the high D, okay, tends to have a bite that's not as big as their bark. They like to be, and I'm talking about the out of control D. They like to intimidate. They like to take control of the conversation. That does not mean they're not buying. Identify the direct behavior styles in your funnel. Identify them in your client base. Make sure you're tweaking your strategies, your presentation, everything you do to them. So now, here's some keys. Let's make sure we're recognizing and adapting to every client's behavior style. But today we dealt with the direct behavior style. Make sure we're working to develop rapport. And rapport is a direct result of trust. Earn their trust. Be on time. Return every phone call. Always over-deliver. Never over-promise and under-deliver. You'll lose them as a client. Make sure we tailor our presentation to be short, impactful, like I'm doing with this podcast. And always, but always, ask for the money. So when we're dealing with this behavior style, kind of like in a recap, whether I'm on a phone, whether I'm on a Zoom, whether I'm face-to-face, I'm listening for clues and cues. I'm listening for, are they direct? Do they talk fast? Do they talk loud? Okay. Are the words that come out of their mouth performance, results, solutions? Okay, do they look at their watch? Do they tap their foot? Do they tap a pencil? These things might offend you, yet they're actually giving you clues on how to deal with them. Do you have a direct sales meeting? I had a direct sales meeting yesterday, and the meeting went from my initial value proposition right to a core story. During the core story, I need a proposal now. That's what they said. To a proposal, to a close the deal. We did the whole thing over the phone. I timed it in 16 and a half minutes. Now, I wasn't being transactional. I was selling to their behavior style. This person didn't want 20 follow-ups. This person didn't want, me to play games. They knew what they wanted because I discovered that in my discovery process in my core story. And what we realized was they were in a hurry. We established a timeline that they wanted to get this done now. And he said, what do I need to get on your calendar in the next 2 weeks? And I said, a 50% non-refundable deposit. I didn't go into a story. I didn't, talk around it. He asked me a question, a direct question to a direct behavior style needs to get a direct answer. What behavior style are you? Do you have some of this in you? Are you, when you buy or when you are being presented to, is this your behavior style? Can I share something with you? You're going to want to become an expert at both sides of the table. Who am I? Who are they? How can I adapt? How can I make the other person comfortable in speaking their behavior style? So these were just some tips today, just some keys. We all sell to this behavior style. Don't you want to be armed? Please, I really recommend strongly that you go to sellmorevirtually.com. We have some mega course on there. It is a 9 Essentials of Sales Success webinar. That's free, but that's going to take you to a large mega course. In that mega course, I go into how to sell to each behavior style. So, hey, folks, hopefully this has been an asset to you. Can you like it? Can you share it? Can you write a great comment on it? Thanks so much. We look forward to our next podcast. Have a productive week.
Thanks for listening. New episodes will air each Tuesday and Thursday, so make sure to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts and give us a 5-star review. The Sales Edge is sponsored by Pici and Pici Incorporated, a firm which provides training, consulting, and keynote presentations, empowering corporations and individuals to attract and retain quality clients for higher revenues and growth. Make more money in sales. Speak with Joe in person by calling 407-947-2590 or visit www.piciandpici.com. Spelled P-I-C-I-A-N-D, P-I-C-I.com.